Welcome, history enthusiasts, to an enchanting journey through time as we uncover the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Join us on this exploration of awe-inspiring feats of architecture and engineering that once graced the landscapes of antiquity. Long ago, the famous Greek historian Herodotus wrote of 7 remarkable wonders, planting seeds for what became the iconic list we now know. Although his writings didn't survive, the legacy lives on in the 7 wonders of the ancient world. These ancient wonders are Colossus of Rhodes, Great Pyramid of Giza, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, Statue of Zeus at Olympia, Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, and Lighthouse of Alexandria. Of these wonders, 4 were destroyed by earthquake, 2 were destroyed by fire, and 1 is still standing. Our journey begins with the only wonder that still stands today, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built in 2570 BC, this monumental structure served as the tomb for the Egyptian pharaoh Khufu. It is believed to have taken 20 years and as many as 100,000 workers to complete the Great Pyramid, which was built as a tomb for the 4th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh named Khufu. It was built as part of a complex that included temples and many other pyramids. The outermost stones of the pyramid were highly polished white limestone, which were eventually loosened by an earthquake more than 600 years ago, and were removed to help build cities and mosques. When these casing stones were present, some believe that the pyramid was so large and bright that it could be seen from the moon. There is much speculation about the construction methodologies and intentions of the pyramid, including references to the moon, the Orion constellation, continental gravity, and more. What is known, however, is that the 4 sides of the base are more than 700 feet long, and differ in length by no more than 8 inches. Each side of the pyramid is almost perfectly aligned with the 4 cardinal points of the compass. And the pyramid's dimensions convert to a ratio that equates to 2 pi with nearly perfect accuracy. Now, let's delve into the enigma of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Built in 600 BC and possibly a product of poetic imagination, these gardens are said to have been a marvel of engineering and irrigation. Explore the various theories surrounding its existence and the lush greenery that may have adorned the ancient city. Whether they did or did not exist, there are many elaborate accounts and poetic descriptions of the gardens. They are generally believed to have been built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife because she missed the gardens of her home. Some research suggests that it was an elaborate series of rooftop gardens. Another theory suggests that the gardens were built in the walls of the royal palace. Babylon, being in the middle of the desert, had no such natural greenery, however, calling into question of how such lushness would have survived in the dryness of the desert. Recent excavations have suggested the use of an exceptional system of irrigation using a cellar well in conjunction with a chain pump to raise the water to the gardens. Still, other theories even suggest that the gardens weren't in Babylon at all. Rather, that they were constructed by Sennacherib at the eastern bank of the Tigris River. Regardless of the final outcome, it is interesting to note that the imagination of the poets and ancient historians have created one of the wonders of the world. Next on our list is the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, built in 550 BC. Immerse yourself in the grandeur of this marble masterpiece, twice the size of the Parthenon, adorned with over 100 beautifully sculptured columns. Learn about its rise, fall, and the legendary statue of Artemis housed within its sacred walls. Unlike many other temples of its time, it was built of marble and glittered with gold. The temple's foundation was over 180 by 350 feet and its steps led to a high platform on which stood more than 100 beautifully sculptured columns that supported its roof. At least twice the size of the Parthenon, it was so breathtaking it was said to rise to the clouds. The temple housed many incredible works of art, but the most famous was the statue of Artemis herself. Although the original no longer exists, it was thought to have been made of gold and other beautiful materials. Her legs were covered with animals and bees, and the top of the body covered with breasts symbolizing fertility. Although destroyed and rebuilt many times, and ultimately left to be destroyed by man, nature and neglect, the most famous version of the temple was destroyed by arson committed by a man named Herostratus on the night Alexander the Great was born. Marvel at the craftsmanship of the statue of Zeus at Olympia, created by the renowned sculptor Phidias in 430 BC. Standing nearly 40 feet tall, this ivory and gold statue once dominated the Temple of Zeus. Uncover the myths and legends surrounding this colossal representation of the king of the gods. The statue of Zeus at Olympia, Deus Mythologia, was built in 430 BC and was destroyed by fire in 426 AD. Carved from ivory, on a throne of cedarwood, the statue was created by the Greek sculptor Phidias around 430 BC. In its right hand was a life-size statue of Nike, the goddess of victory, and in its left was a large scepter topped with an eagle. The statue, nearly 40 feet tall, was said to fill the entire width of one of the aisles of the Temple of Zeus, and its head nearly scraped the temple ceiling. In 426 AD, the temple was destroyed, and many historians believe that the statue was destroyed at that time. Others believe, however, that the statue was moved to Constantinople, now Istanbul, and was destroyed about 50 years later. Although many copies of the statue were made during its 800-plus-year lifespan, none are known to have survived. Let's explore the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, a testament to love and grandeur, built in 352 BC. Commissioned by Artemisia in memory of her husband Mausolus, this mausoleum stood for centuries as a masterpiece of Greek architecture. Discover its dimensions, artistic reliefs, and the origin of the term mausoleum. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus, Mausoleum Halicarnassus, was built in 352 BC and was destroyed by earthquake in 1404 AD. The monument was built as a tomb for Mausolus, a governor in the Persian Empire. Sparing no expense, his widowed wife Artemisia, who was also his sister as was considered customary, commissioned well-known Greek architects and artists to design the tomb and sculptural reliefs for each of the four sides of the building. The monument was almost square, nearly 14 stories tall, and its base was more than 10,000 square feet. Each side of the tomb had 9 massive columns, and the top was a stepped pyramid on which stood by a 4-horse marble chariot in which there were images of Mausolus and Artemisia. The monument stood for nearly 17 centuries and was eventually destroyed by a series of earthquakes. And, like the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the tomb was so famous that Mausolus's name has become the root word for large tombs in many languages. Travel back to 282 BC as we encounter the Colossus of Rhodes, a colossal statue dedicated to the sun god Helios. Though it met its demise in 226 BC, explore the legends surrounding its construction and the people's belief in divine protection during a siege. The Colossus of Rhodes, Colossos tes Rhodou, was built in 282 BC and was destroyed by earthquake in 226 BC. In 294 BC, the people of the island of Rhodes began building a colossal statue of the sun god Helios. They believed that it was because of his blessings that they were able to withstand a long siege on the island and emerge victorious. The Colossus was built with bronze, reinforced with iron, and weighted with stones. While it is often depicted straddling Mandrakean harbor, this is now considered technically impossible, and therefore, it likely stood beside the harbor. The statue was toppled by an earthquake in 226 BC. It snapped at the knees and fell over onto the land. The Oracle of Delphi suggested that it fell because the people of Rhodes had offended Helios, and they decided not to rebuild it. The statue remained on the ground until 654 AD, and even broken, it was so impressive that many traveled to see it. Finally, witness the grandeur of the Lighthouse of Alexandria, standing tall on the island of Pharos in 280 BC. Uncover the mysteries of its three-stage structure, the ingenious use of mirrors, and the legends of its brilliance guiding sailors through the Mediterranean. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, Ho Pharos tes Alexandrias, was built in 280 BC and was destroyed by earthquake in 1323 AD. Located on the island of Pharos in the harbor of Alexandria, the lighthouse may be the most famous lighthouse in history. The lighthouse was very different than modern lighthouses in that it was built in 3 stages, all sloping inward. Built of marble blocks with lead mortar, the lowest was square, the next octagonal, and the top cylindrical. Within the lighthouse was a ramp and dumbwaiter that allowed wood to be transported to the fire that burned at night. Inside the open top of the lighthouse was a large curved mirror that was used to reflect the sunlight during the day and the fire at night. It is said that mariners could see the light up to 35 miles away. Legends have it that the light was so bright it could be used to burn enemy ships. There are many stories about its ultimate demise. However, the most likely cause is believed to be as many as 22 earthquakes between 320 AD and 1323 AD which led to its decommission. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was so famous in ancient times that the island on which it stood, Pharos, became the root word for lighthouse in many languages. As we conclude our journey through the 7 wonders of the ancient world, marvel at the ingenuity, artistry, and timeless legacy left by these architectural marvels. Which wonder fascinated you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more historical adventures. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of our past.